It's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's our goal. Hey, it's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's also a show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Breaking Bread with Tom Papa. I am Tom Papa. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for breaking bread with me once again. We have an amazing show for you today. We've got the talented, the handsome, snarky Joel McHale on the program today. Love Joel. We acted together. We've performed together. We're pals. And I like him because he is one of the funniest people I know who isn't a full-time comedian. For real. He's funnier in conversation than a lot of comics that I'm friends with. And he would hate me saying that. But I'm going to say it because he can't make a wise-ass comment about it right now. If I were to say, you'll see. I'll compliment him during the interview and see how he reacts. He's a wise-ass, and I love him to death. He also is, I wouldn't say he's particular. He doesn't suffer fools, and he doesn't eat garbage. How about that? We also have a quick bite with Duncan Trussell. Duncan has been a guest on this show before, and we're going to check in with him. He has some big news. We're going to give a phone call to him and see what he's up to. He moved to the East Coast, I think South Carolina, or maybe the beaches of North Carolina. I forget where exactly. But I miss him dearly, and I haven't spoken to him in a while. So we're going to check in with the great Duncan Trussell. Joel McHale and Duncan Trussell. How about that for a show? Come on. I want to thank our good friends at Wine Access for sponsoring the show. I love Wine Access. There's a whole world of wine to discover out there, and Wine Access are your pals to help you through it all. They take all the guesswork out of ordering wine. They will, with all of their sommeliers and experts, they basically are like having a friend with knowledge of wine. And once you use them, you're never going to go back, because not only do you feel less foolish about wasting your money on bad wine, but you also learn as you go along, and you start to develop this catalog of what is good, because you have a good friend in the wine world, in Wine Access. And right now, if you go to wineaccess.com/Papa, P-A-P-A, you'll get $20 off your first order of $50 or more. How about that? $50 or more, $20 off, wineaccess.com/Papa, P-A-P-A. You know, when Joel and I first met, we were working on a great Matt Damon, Steven Soderbergh movie called The Informant. Great film. You should look it up, not just because I'm in it, but it's one of Matt's greatest performances. And I think it's on the Netflix right now. And anyway, it was great. And we had to go to Decatur, Illinois to film it, which is where Archer Daniels Midland, the big food manufacturer, it's all about that, basically. And not about that, but it's about a guy that worked for them, and there was this whole FBI thing and this intrigue and this crazy guy that Matt plays, and it became this whole thing. And I got to play one of the characters, one of the executives from that company. And Joel played one of the FBI agents. And the coolest thing, this is why we became pals, is that you fly off to Decatur, Illinois, and you basically stay there for a month and work on this movie. It's not that I was working every single day, nor was Joel, but when you do these films, we're not the star. They're not going to fly you back and forth every time you have a day off. So you live there. And it's like going to camp with funny people and crazy people. And Alan Havey, another great comedian. A lot of great comics were in this film. Patton Oswalt and Paul F. Tompkins and so many great people. And we all get to hang out intermittently if you were there for the run, as Joel and I were. And they had this thing called Club Informant, where you're staying basically in this pretty much just a cheap hotel in Decatur, Illinois. And there's not much going on. So we had this little bar with a pool table, and they called it Club Informant or Bar Informant, something like that. And then after the day of shooting, you would get to hang out with everybody, which was the coolest. You know, this was a big-time movie, and you're hanging out with the likes of Matt and Soderbergh and Greg Jacobs and all these great people, and everyone's just so cool. The great thing about working with all these people is they're some of the best people in show business. So it's like nobody's arrogant. Everybody's just down to earth, having a good time, and we get to hang out. And so Joel and I and Scott Bakula and all these great people became really, really tight. It was like going to summer camp and making a movie. It really was. And the one thing that I would partake in, my manager sent me a bottle of Lagavulin scotch, which I'd never had before. And they sent it along as a gift, as a good luck, enjoy yourself. I was like, oh, this is great. Nice bottle of scotch. I wasn't totally into scotch at the time, but I was like, all right, this will be good. We'll try it. And Alan Havey and I, Alan's a great comedian who I had watched for years. He was like had one of the first shows on Comedy Central. He's just this amazing, really powerful comic, and we were pretty much on the same schedule. So we would be hanging out all day, waiting for everybody to come back from shooting, and we'd peer out of our little thing. Oh, they're here, and then we'd run and meet everybody at the bar. And when you have that kind of downtime and you're sitting here with this beautiful bottle of Lagavulin 16-year-old scotch, it's not going to make it on the plane ride home. You're gonna crack it open and you're going to enjoy it. It was so damn good, so amazing that it has now become one of the drinks of my life. I don't get to drink it all that often, because I have a life and a family and work, so you can't be just pounding scotch. But on the nights when if you want to picture yourself, in my mind, the fire's roaring, the Lagavulin is poured, and then I get to sit with my pipe and talk about world events with the wittiest people in the world. What really happens is I'm usually have had some wine earlier, and I'm a little tipsy and tired, and I pour it, and I forget about the fireplace because I don't have that kind of time, and no one's around. My kids hate the smell of it. They leave. My wife doesn't really enjoy it either. She's probably watching TV or asleep, and I'm just sitting in a chair with the dogs. Still, one sip of this, that whole first picture is what the reality is, the reality that I'm actually living. Let me describe it to you. I looked it up. The best way to describe it, it's in the Isle of the southern, I don't know if you say Islay, LA. So you've got Scotland, right? And then you've got this little you go down by the sea. Lagavulin, 16-year-old bottling note. This one's better. I like this one. Okay, so the appearance in a Lagavulin is deep, dusky amber. Okay, that sounds manly, right? The nose, I'm just going to read this. This is from whiskeywash.com. Okay, the nose, oh geez. There's peat, first of all, a big, pungent whack of it, laced with smoked fish and driftwood and salty rocks. It really is so accurate. This is why I'm reading it. It is a peaty, you feel like you're in a cave down by the sea. But underneath that, there's a great big ocean of sweet caramelized malt, all baked apples and cobbler crust. Accurate. Plenty of industrial character, too. Soot, rubber, hot electrical equipment, and that magical, grimy petrichor of a dirty urban sidewalk after a summer's rain. That's just the nose of it. That's just what you're smelling. Then the palate, the tasting of it. You know that saying turns to ashes in your mouth? This is like the opposite. At first, it's like a mouthful of recently extinguished ashes, charred, powdery, astringent, but then a lush maritime garden quickly comes into technicolor focus. A lush maritime garden. That's really true. Basically, Lagavulin 16 tastes just like a real boat. Varnish, diesel, salty nets, ocean spray, the sticky lanolin-rich smell of thick wool sweater a hardworking man has been wearing one too many days in a row. Over several minutes in the glass, ghosts of fruit emerge, orange and red cherry mostly, but never seem to break through the low-hanging haze. That's all right. Suggesting is enough. That's what, I know it's complicated. I know it sounds weird. You've got to taste it. You've got to sit by yourself or with a friend and just enjoy that because it is complex. My way of summing all that up, it's big, it's powerful, it's peaty, and it's going to transport you. Everything they say there about being in the ocean or being on a boat or being in a man's sweater, yeah, there's hints of all that. That all kind of makes sense. But ultimately, so enjoyable. Oh, and you will be hooked on it, and it will be a problem for the rest of your life because it ain't cheap. It's about $100 a bottle. Okay, we've got Joel McHale coming up. I can't talk about Joel without being attached to Lagavulin because it was all, I discovered both at the same time. And Joel, surprisingly, does not smell like the sea. He's so funny. You know him, of course, from Community, from his stand-up. He's hosting Card Sharks. He's hosted on New Year's Eve. He's just, he's amazing, and he always works, and it's well-deserved because he's a star. He's a star. And we're going to talk all about the good health of living during this pandemic. We're going to talk about wine. We're going to talk about coffee. We're going to talk about all of the good things in life and have some good laughs. I hope you really enjoy it. And then we'll have a quick bite with Duncan Trussell right after that. So right now, enjoy Joel McHale.
This is the first time I've ever done a Zoom on this new iPad. And it actually, at first I was like, oh, it's a dream come true. And then as you saw, I turned it sideways and it was like, we're on. It became a cannonball run.
It's very good to see you. Thank you for coming on my little show.
Thank you for having me. You continue to be the handsomest man in comedy.
I shaved my beard because I didn't like it, but I'm looking at your beard and I'm thinking, man, your hair game has always been on point.
Well, the hair transplants really helped, Tom.
I think I've gone too. I'm beyond.
Well, you can. There's hope. You can Billy Crudup. No, not Billy Crudup. He's got fine hair. But you can Billy Bob Thornton it and just be super bald and then all of a sudden not.
Is that what he did? You could just
and then you're on Fargo and it's really good.
Yeah, and you get to do stuff.
No, when I've shaved my beard, my 12-year-old goes, the last time I did it, he was like, "You look younger," and I don't like it. And then he walks out of the room. I'm like, thank you.
Wow, that's pretty great. Because my daughter keeps coming up to me when I have the beard and keeps whispering in my ear, "You look really old." And then just walks away because she knows it kills me.
Yeah, but you don't have, the difference is you don't have, because I feel like okay, sometimes beard can make you old, especially if you have a super gray beard. But I feel like if you can see the skin and the alive look in people's eyes, because sometimes people have that ashen look where you're like, oh, you have lived and your body did its best to make you look great for a long time, and this is the letdown. This is the part of when you take the steak out of the oven and you let it rest. This is where you've reached. So I don't actually think it matters whether you're balding or whether you have a beard, because you can see that skin, and then it's like, oh, you need to get on a treadmill, or you need to go for a run and quit whatever you're doing. But so you have that look.
Yo, thank you.
No, you have the youthful skin. That's what's important.
Right. I think that I see guys a lot when they start going bald. That's when they go facial hair, because it kind of balances it off. But then that becomes like an obvious play to me. So I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't really. I shouldn't be focusing on my hair. I should be writing jokes.
Well, you also have a good shape to your head, which is like just a bonus from however you didn't lie on the back of your head as a kid. So you don't have a weird, like flat area and then a point and then it comes down. You don't have that. So that's also like Patrick Stewart is a better looking man because he's bald.
Yeah, that's really true. But I have to say, I can't go to the point of let's just shave it all off and just be bald.
Why not?
I don't know. I
feel like if you grew the beard and you shaved it all off, then it would be, welcome to Tom Papa's garage. Today we're bending pipe. We're gonna merge a Harley like a hog with a what do we do? Look at that AMC Gremlin. We're putting that together today. Because that's the only way. Like, soon as they shave beard and then they're like, well, now I look kind of badass, or every proud boy thinks they look cool.
Right, exactly. I don't want to become another character. I want to lock this character in for a while and just be this guy for a bit.
Yeah, it works.
So you have been locked down for a long time, but you've been putting out a lot of good content for me. I've been able to see you on television. I've been able to see you on New Year's Eve. I've been able to see you which you've kind of stopped doing when you had in the beginning. You had a doctor on your Instagram who was giving us all good information.
I got to start that up again.
You really do. Because
he knew his shit, and he continues to know his shit, and he keeps me educated. Still, he does. I need to redo that.
Yeah, it was valuable.
All the time.
It's no joke. It was because he did most of the talking, and you at a certain point,
I would just go.
You were like you were expressing what I was feeling while listening to it, which was just like, what the F is happening?
Yes. And he would always do he continues to be very smart. And but yes, you knew how smart he was because you would ask him just a tiny question. Mm-hmm. Like, I worked with Stephen Fry for 1 year on a TV show. I can't believe I was on a show that was canceled. Oh, that's right. All of them. But I'd be like, isn't that a cool flower? And then he would tell you every scientific thing about that flower every time it was made reference to in literature, and then the different artists that have painted it. And that's what this guy was.
Yeah. Amazing.
But we have 3 more vaccines coming, which is great. The Johnson & Johnson and the AstraZeneca and the Novavax. So that'll be great.
That's good. We got to get out of this. How are you doing mentally? What's been your ups and downs?
Well, I've started taking heroin, and that is really a high. That is great. That is like
good. Does it help you?
The come down is rough, and I'm stealing a lot more.
When you run out, it's very difficult.
It is. I get pretty desperate, and I'm not going to say I'm beyond murder, but or above murder. No, I get more work. At the beginning, it was stressful, as you were. I would have these moments where I'm like, oh, I'm anxious right now, and I can't figure out why. And then I'm like, oh, this is it's the pandemic. But obviously now we've gotten into these routines that are so routine that when we see old footage of people at concerts, we're like, Look at those fools. What are they, crazy? And yeah, that's when I feel like we're in 12 Monkeys. And we're like, oh, right, this flashback to when we could be in a train station that wasn't haunted by bears and full of snow. But I get more stressed out about for my kids whether they're I know that it's very good to keep them sad, but I do worry. That's where I start to get like, oh no, what's going to happen when they've been having Zoom school, and I know that school is beginning to resume, and there's a lot more studies coming out about how kids are not transmitters and don't get it as bad, and that's great. But that has been more because as you know, I am a golden retriever when it comes to socialization. I am very extroverted, and so in situations like this, I'll do everything I can to be out there. Or it's like at a party when I will be the last person to leave, no matter what my wife does. And one of my sons is an extrovert and one of them's not, and so I just get worried. That's the source of my stress. How about you?
I think I was actually doing. I went through it in the beginning. It's kind of like when you have your first kid, and then you think you have it all together. Then you have the second one. You're like, oh, I was freaking out with that first kid. Like I thought I was all cool, but that's what it was like with the pandemic. It was like I went through March and April, just keeping everyone's spirits up, and May, and just keeping everybody going. And this is not a big deal, and thinking that I wasn't stressed. And then like when things kind of loosened up, I was like, oh, I was freaking out in March, just like everybody else was. But then I kind of did some stuff and did some shows and stuff, and now I haven't been performed since November, and now I feel more like malaise and just crankiness that I think some other people who weren't performing early on went through. I kind of put it off, and now I'm just like, okay, now I'm exercising way too often just for stress.
Now, but don't you... Right. But you're not performing. It's not like you're waking up at 11:30 every morning and then kind of moping around till 2 and watching television and being like, I didn't perform today. Right.
No, I'm super busy.
Yeah, you're a maniac like most people in this business that they create. Yeah. They have to create the culture of work around them. And here we are. You're still, obviously you're kicking ass on your podcast and you keep it going.
Sure.
Do you get the feeling, because I've been asked to do stand-up a couple times and I haven't been able to because of the heroin. Yeah. But I have this feeling now that I'll never be able to do it again. I'll be like, I don't remember how to do it. I don't know. It's been a long, long time. I don't know. That's my feeling.
Yeah, when I first started stand-up, in the very, very beginning, and then I had to stop for a year because of personal stuff that was going on.
You were opening for Lenny Bruce?
I was opening for Lenny Bruce, and this new guy, Johnny Carson, was coming out, and I had done it for a little bit and wasn't even performing that much, but then I stopped for a while, and I remember turning to my sister at one point and saying, "Am I funny anymore?" I lost the sense of am I just turning into a non-funny mush? What's happening here? That's kind of similar to the feeling that I had recently. But I will give you this. It's not true. It's a total illusion. You'll go up on stage and it'll be weird for 5 seconds and you'll be like, oh, right. Turns out I know what I'm doing.
Turns out after 10,000 hours of this, I can still do this.
Yeah. And in a lot of ways, it was very liberating. It was like I got out of some bad habits, like always having to start a certain way or do a certain thing or go really fast. It was almost like, well, we should just be grateful that we get to do this at all. Yeah. And I was able to just be more free up there for a minute.
Talk about that's a renaissance. That's great. But are you doing all new material?
Yes.
Yeah. See, there's the difference. That I am. You are disciplined, and I don't know. You probably write 3 jokes a day or write a bit down, and I'm like, I'll get to it.
Well,
At
it's
some
hard when
point.
you're not performing. Like it's hard to write stand up now if you know you don't have a gig on such and such date.
Yeah.
Right?
I just turned down a gig because I'm going to be out of town.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, that would be a really good thing to do because that would give me a month to kind of go, all right, just gather everything together and then put it out there. And then I'm not doing it. It's bad. No, it's fine. I've mostly been doing caricature drawings of George Carlin.
Yeah, that's good. Those are in high demand.
Yeah. Do you need any?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay. Okay.
No, I never really got him. I never really.
Yeah, have you done it? Have you done what? Did you do like drive-in stand-up or distanced stand-up?
I did indoor stand-up with limited capacity in Salt Lake City, Denver, Cleveland, and I think one other place.
Wow. And you felt
like
safe
one
and all
a
that?
month. It felt safe enough. Yeah, it felt safe enough. And the cities at the time, like I canceled a couple cities where got a little out of control and seemed like this wouldn't be wise to go do. And then once November hit, I did Cleveland, and it was like everything was kind of like sliding back into the toilet. And
Right.
I was like, I have to go home and just stop for a bit. And I just went home and just kept baking bread.
Oh, good. Well, it doesn't look like you've been eating a ton of bread.
I've been working out a lot.
What's the workout?
Peloton.
Bike or treadmill?
Bike, and then I use the app for yoga and strength for like dumbbells.
Did you say strength?
Yeah, which is so funny because when I played football in high school,
yeah,
strength was.
Now you say strength or strength?
Strength. What do you say?
Strength. I'm from America.
Strength.
I say the strength. Strength.
Strength.
No one says strength.
Strength.
Are you from Canada? And that's a compliment. I'm half Canadian. Strength.
Muscles.
Yes. And so
whatever
in football,
whatever it is, I don't have it. Whatever it is, whatever the I like. You know how you'll see like those little hand weights that they'll package with a yoga mat.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, I'm not strong anymore.
Were you super strong in high school?
I was strong. I was an athlete my whole life, like you. You were even more so. You went and played in.
Well, that's
college.
true. But I walked on. It wasn't like I was recruited.
Yeah, but you were able to hang. You were able to do it.
I did hang. I was recruited to row.
Were you really?
Yeah, I got there in rowing, which is very different from football, but there's a lot less contact, a lot more water. But you'll see, like I'm a maniac for exercising because it's the only thing that keeps me. It's my meditation.
It really is. That's no joke.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
You'll feel like so shitty in the morning, and then just be like, argh. And as soon as the workout's done, aren't you just a different person?
The endorphin rush is no joke. It is truly, even if it's not, because you can get those crazy endorphin rushes if you go like you explode for like a 10-mile run or a 5-mile run and you don't do that. You're like, wow, I feel, but it really gets you. It's always like, oh, this is like cigarettes. It just kind of gets you to normal.
Yeah.
Where people are like, I don't feel a nicotine buzz. I just feel good. I just feel kind of okay, but that's it.
Yeah.
But I will send you this crazy, there's this guy, it's called Anabolic Aliens, which is a really great name.
That's an awesome name.
And I think he's from Long Island. He is jacked like nobody's business. And he starts every video going like, what's going on, you guys? So his voice is kind of high, which is intimidating, which sounds like he's like in Sopranos and he's the scariest dude, but he's got this high voice. But he'll do these 5-minute bicep workouts with 10-pound weights. And you're like, no problem. 10 pounds. I can do 5 minutes. And by 3.5 minutes, you're like, I need to go to 5 pounds. And so he's great. And then this other guy named app called Athlean X, which is another one where the guy just comes up with these exercises where I'm like, that doesn't seem hard. And then you do 10 of them, and you're like, that I've never worked that muscle. I didn't know that existed. And I'll stop talking about exercise here in a second.
No, I think it's great. I really do. I mean, the Peloton has motivated me because they give me these little badges, like for like milestones. Like if you do 10 days in a row, you get another like a badge. And my daughter's like, "Do they send it to you?" I'm like, "No, it's just on my phone." But it means so much to me.
And he's like, "My dad is a small man." Do you do the classes live, and do you have your favorite teachers?
No, I have my favorite teachers, but I don't do them live. And there's this one guy, Matt Wilpers, who's just like a straight ahead kind of like a coach from Georgia. He's just like, I can't do the teachers that party on the bike or like are showing you a lot of cleavage and making eye contact in the camera. I don't need just give me a coach yelling.
You don't need a boner while you're
right.
While you're on the bike.
I don't need a bike boner.
I know some people. Well, I do know them, but they're my friend's sister and his brother-in-law. They, for vacation, went to New York to take the classes live. Like, she's our favorite teacher. We're going to, like, that was what they decided to do.
It's culty. It's culty, but it works though. Like it hooks you, which is, I guess, the point. What's your main thing other than the alien?
Other than, I mix it up. I do a lot of squats and deadlifts for like 35 minutes a day of that, because it was the exercises I always ignored. So for the last 2 years, I'm like squats every day, deadlifts. So it's basically switching off. So it's a lot of that core strength.
Wow. That's hardcore.
And then I try to do like between 50 and 100 pull-ups, because that was another thing I never did. And then I'm like, I'm just going to do this until I'm good at them.
Why are pull-ups so hard?
Lifting your entire body weight. But it's also because people go, pull-ups are hard, and then they don't do them.
Right.
Or people hate lunges. And I was like, well, if you just do it, they become easier. And then all of a sudden you realize you have more leg strength. Strength, as you would say.
Strength.
And then I listen to books. That's what I do. I listen to books. That's
work out?
While I work out, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you?
Because I'm I continue to be dyslexic, and I gave that to my kids. You're welcome. And so Audible changed my life, and so I can now go back and listen to like classic books that I would never even attempt when I was younger.
Wow, that's great.
Like Dianetics.
So now I know when you. I don't know what your habits have been lately, but I know you were dialed in diet-wise also, and you were really good about during your week, but then you'd have a cheat day or two.
Yeah.
And I remember you talking to me about your cheat day, and I carry it with me now because it was so
dramatic.
It was so euphoric and dramatic at the same time. Are you still pretty? Is that pretty much how you live your life?
No. I noticed I was kind of plateauing and actually gaining a little weight. So this is, who's ever tuning in, just go ahead and with great disgust, just mute me while I'm talking and listen to the glorious Tom Papa, because it's a sad, sad world. So that I've used it's so dumb, but no, it worked for a long time, but I just got bored with not eating anything, or being very restrictive during the week, and then going crazy for one day, and I'm like, well, see you next Sunday.
Yep.
Great food. And so I ended up talking to this bodybuilder who was like, it's really just, he basically was like, it comes down, his name's Spencer Rich, and he's like, it basically just comes down to portion control and that's it, basically, because he was like 80% of bodybuilding is diet and the rest is exercise. And I was like, 80? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, pretty much. And I was like,
whoa.
And he's like, so if you just make the portion small, then and he's like, you're not getting to a goal of being on stage with bodybuilding or anything. It was just like, but if you just control the portions, you're basically going to be fine. And the rest of it is, it's just not as much exercise as you think.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, for these bodybuilders. So it's not like, cut back on exercise and don't eat. So I still do a lot of that. Yeah. Anyway, that's sad.
What is your when you're not thinking about the health of it all? What is your favorite things to eat?
This is a good podcast. Beer. I like beer a lot. I like an IPA. I like wine. Spaghetti carbonara. If I could have it. When I die, I want. If heaven is just a huge bowl of spaghetti carbonara, which for those of you out there, it's pasta with bacon and eggs.
I'm actually going through a period now where I'm trying to perfect that.
Of that specific dish.
That specific dish, yes.
And you know that it's very difficult because you can't put the pasta can't be too hot in the eggs and it can't be too cold. For the people out there, spaghetti carbonara, you put it in mixed up eggs, the pasta, but the pasta can't be too hot because then the eggs cook. But if it's perfect, then they just slick the pasta and then you have bacon. And some people put in peas sometimes.
Which I've been told by the hardcore people, don't you dare do that.
Okay. What do you put in there?
And you have to use guanciale, which is the pork cheek. You can go with pancetta, but it's really the guanciale is the purest way, to do it. I'm not that great at it yet. I've got
How many times?
It's 3.
And is your family like, you're the greatest father of all time, that this is the thing you've decided to take on?
No, they're all vegetarians. So they are like, that smells great, and why are you putting it in our face? As I hand them their portion, which has butter on it. The plain
they won't eat eggs?
They'll eat eggs, but they don't eat it. You're also putting the guanciale grease in it, and
glorious.
Oh, it's so good. There's an Instagram. I'm following someone on Instagram. It's called like Carbo Boys or something like that, where all they do is show their favorite carbonara.
Pasta dishes?
No, just carbonara.
I'm gonna find that Instagram now. So you eat how many portions when you make it? 1, 2?
2.
Good for you.
Yeah, well, I'm learning.
I mean, everyone says the Mediterranean diet is the way to go. And when you go through Italy, it's not like you see a lot of people that are, put on a lot because they're eating rich stuff. But they just don't. They just portion control.
Yeah, I guess so. It's
and red wine.
Are you a wine snob?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this
is a huge snob. Yes, I'm a snob about everything. You know that.
Yes, I do know that.
Yeah. This is my dry. It's almost done, but I did a dry January.
You did. I was going to do dry January, but then the troubles started, and I was like,
in Northern Ireland.
I just said, forget this. I'm drinking until the end of January.
I thought about that, but I was just like, there seems to be troubles every month. They're always starting up, and so just like I have to. That's why I'm drinking kombucha. Well, I guess it's not. It's not in the evening, but
so tell me about your wine. Tell me about
I have way too much of it, and
you come from the Northwest. Were you when you were younger? Were you?
Yes, when I was a 4-year-old, I was.
Were you going on wine tastings as a
4-year-old? Yes, I would take my parents. Parents' night was just we just did a tasting. Tried as people may or may not know, the Pacific Northwest is a secret wine, huge wine producing place, and with spectacular world class wines, which still are about half to a fourth the price of some of Napa's, major leaguers, and also, nothing compared to the price of French wine. So, but I think they're making spectacular wines. Anyway, as soon as I could afford it, before I could afford it, I would buy it. And then as soon as I could afford it, I bought way too much of it. Yeah. And now I have to get rid of some of it. So this is a giveaway on the Tom Papa.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I have a lot of it and I enjoy it. And I'm not an expert in the way that, I've not done a lot of studying, but I'm like, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to buy a case of it. That's kind of how I operated.
What is What's your favorite? What do you lean towards?
I'm more red than white, but I like white a lot.
You do?
I think Spain is the kind of big secret that we don't get a lot of Spanish wine at all in America. And when I have it, I'm like, this is outstanding. And also, again, the prices are so much lower than French or Italian and a lot of Napa. And I think wine coming out of the Alicante region, that's as wino as I get, where I'm just like, everything I've had from there, I'm like, this is great.
Where's that? That's Spain?
That is Spain. I don't know. If you're looking at Spain, it's kind of, it's down. Yeah, it's right over there. And that's what I like right now. I'm trying to think of things that I don't. I can't believe you can just edit all this out. I don't like American.
I love hearing
this. American Pinot Noirs. I do not like but I love French Pinot Noirs because I think it's a delicate, lighter grape.
Yeah.
And America decided to turn the grape up. And so they kind of were like, well, America loves these huge Cabernets.
Yeah.
And they're like, and so we're just going to take this Pinot grape and kind of turn it into a Cab, which it doesn't taste like Cab, obviously, but it's something, it's an abomination to me. And I know that people love it and it's great, but I much prefer the French or the Italian version, which are, it's going to sound so douchey, but they're just way more delicate with it, and don't try to make it into something that it's not. Thank you. I'm Joel McHale.
No,
I do. It is a weird thing.
There's that thing where there's nothing wrong with talking about wine that way, because when you really start to learn it, that's when you really start to enjoy it. And I don't think it's only sounds douchey when you don't really know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's a weird thing because you come off as a snob if you know something about wine, but wine consumption around the planet is just gigantic. It's a drink of choice for most people. I mean, the same thing happened now with beer. We live in beer heaven. We never, our dads never dreamt of beer like this.
Yeah.
It was everything was an American lager. And some of them are terrific, but that was the only option. And then once in a while you'd be in a Safeway and it would be like, Chimay, what's that?
Right.
And, but now America really has started something that is, for all the things that come out of America, the beer is spectacular.
And and same with coffee, right? When our fathers were growing up, there was the hot brown water that you would get at the muffler shop. and that was
percolate. The fucking percolator, right?
Yeah.
Which made terrible coffee.
Yeah.
How did it get, and then I don't understand, it went from this perfect thing. Yeah. I guess Italy would be the best example of the coffee through the ages. And and then America just went, we got it from here. And we're gonna take the same amount of grounds, make that into 8 gallons, and we're gonna serve it at churches with donuts. And then we've gone back. For as much as I have a real problem with Starbucks because Howard Schultz sold my Seattle Supersonics to Oklahoma City. Fine, I get why Oklahoma City wanted a team, but he gave away the team for no reason. Thank you. That's a commentary. But they really did bring gourmet coffee back. And it's permeated the culture when, Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's are fighting over who has the most flavorful coffee.
Yeah, right, exactly. So that's why I don't think that, it's kind of funny when you say I'm a snob about everything, but it's really just being thoughtful about all this stuff. It's we're only here for such a certain amount of time. We might as well enjoy it. I'm that same way with wine. I'm if I am going to drink and I'm not going to sleep that great that night because I drank too much, it should be something good.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. No, you don't want to be, I'm trying to think of all the different labels. You don't, yes. And you can get really great quality wine for $5 a bottle if you want. And you can also get some of the shittiest wine for $20 a bottle. So, you might as well drink good wine.
Right.
Yeah. Life is too short, as you said. So.
Right. Yeah.
I don't. It is so strange to me when people are like, what would you like? They're like, whatever. And I was like, I have a cinnamon schnapps that's lovely, and I can add some brown sugar to it, and if you like. But that always is very perplexing to me. When people are like, yeah, fine. And be like, you don't go to a car dealership. I'm like, so do you want like a pickup truck, or do you want like a supercar, sports car? Yeah, this doesn't matter. It's fine.
Yeah, just have it.
That is one of the sad things about flying now, is that they can't. Now it's all these individual bottles.
I know.
And so I love, like, when I'm on a plane, I'm like, well, I should have wine because I'm trapped here.
Yeah.
And I can watch a couple of episodes of a German time travel show on Netflix called Dark. That's a plug. Not in it. I don't speak German. But then now it's all these tiny little bottles.
I know.
Again, I have it hard. It's been hard.
It's been really hard. Well, it's so nice to catch up with
you. How
you.
many typewriters do you have?
I have two. And the one up top doesn't really work. It's the older one from 1940s, and that one down below is from 75. And that one you can because my handwriting's so bad, so when I write letters to people, I type them on that.
Pretty cool. You can get that 1940s one in ship shape. There's a couple of companies that'll redo that thing.
Yeah, I know.
And that's my gift to you.
You're the best.
So that's the electric typewriter with the ball that bangs into it?
No. This is the teeth coming up. Pop, pop,
all right.
pop, pop, pop. Yeah, it's a good one.
There's a really good book called The $1 Billion Spy.
Uh-huh.
And it's about how the Soviets had access to our typewriter makers and were getting secrets through those typewriter balls. It's pretty. I was like, wow, that's pretty damn good. We never caught on to it either.
Oh, that's amazing. Now they just tell us they're taking our computer systems and just do it.
It is incredible.
It really is.
And people are like, we know it's Russia. And they're like, all right. Okay, what are we doing about it?
When are we going to do something again together?
I think we're going to do the Informant too. Matt called me about it.
What?
Yeah, he's very excited.
I didn't get a call.
He said everybody's back.
Oh.
The entire Andrea's family.
Oh. I'm sure. A lot of times I don't check my voicemails.
Oh, it wasn't a voicemail. He contacted me. Well, he texted, email, and then his agents. And then, of course, Soderbergh wrote.
Oh.
As he's crafting the script with Scott Z. Burns. I'm just going to keep it going. When are we going to do something again? Well,
yeah, let's do something.
All right. How about a sitcom?
All right. That'd be good.
Called Dads.
I'm in there making my carbonara. You're spitting wine. You're in spit takes with bad wine.
How about this? I do. Well, you could. Oh, I have an outdoor. I don't have an outdoor kitchen, but I have definitely the capability of being able to make stuff outdoors since I have an enormous gas grill, which I put pots and pans on all the time, and I have a heat plate. Ooh. You could make spaghetti carbonara, and I could choose the wine. And since you're a meat eater, I like making meat, and I could make up like a nice. I could do an Italian style New York strip.
Ooh, this sounds good. Yeah,
I think we've got a plan.
I think we
and
do.
then you
and
just
no
bring your family and they can stare at us.
Yeah, and no one has to cast us in this. We could just make it happen.
This is great. Whoa.
Oh man, so you're the best, Joel. Thank you so much.
That is not true.
You are.
I'm average, and I'm glad you were able to get a game show host on your show.
Yeah, so good. Card Sharks, baby.
Card Sharks.
From one game show host to another, you're the best.
See, what's your game show?
I did Boom.
Still going? No? Fuck.
God.
That's the thing that people, I think, always take for granted.
Yeah.
All my friends are like, well, you just get a job and it always goes well. And I'm like, everything I've been on has been canceled. I don't know about Card Sharks, but it's really just like surfing.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
You paddle out. You hope this wave will get you to the shore, but he's like, yeah, most likely it won't. But you just paddle back out again.
I guess we're paddling again.
Yeah. I was like, maybe this wave. This could do it. I was just saying, I was just talking. I was like, I'll never forget Harrison Ford's acceptance speech for what's the lifetime kind of Golden Globe that you get? I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
He got the big life honor. And his entire speech was, well, he showed all his movies and he was like, yeah, the reason why I'm successful is because everyone else left. And I was like, he's like, everyone else gave up and I was the one dude that just hung around. And I was like,
I could do that.
Inspiring, but there is truth to the kind of like, you just keep going. Keep
just
doing
wait
it.
Them out. Just going to wait them out.
Just throw a smoke bomb in there and wait for them to choke, and then they'll eventually come running out. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll keep working on my carbonara, and once I think I won't embarrass myself, we'll set a date.
Great. Great. And I will send you a picture of my wine overflow that is in a closet, which my wife goes, this doesn't look like you have a problem at all. And I'm like, huh? Let me just move some stuff around. Great.
You're the best. Thanks, Joel.
You're the best. Thank you.
See you around.
Good
buddy.
to talk to you. Always.
Too,
now,
man.
I don't know how to turn this off. Oh, here we go.
Wine Access makes it easy for anyone, from beginners to connoisseurs, to learn about which wines they like and why. Wine Access' decorated team of wine experts tastes over 20,000 wines a year. Only about 1 out of 18 make the cut. So you go on wineaccess.com, you start looking up wines, they start giving you suggestions. If you like that, you might like this. If you like this kind of thing, you might like this. This one's not worth it. This one is. And you'll be drinking great wine before you know it. Wine Access equips you with the knowledge and stories behind each bottle. That's what's cool, too. When they send the wine, it actually comes with these cards that give you the whole story of the wine. And as you know, I've said it a bunch of times, when you know where the wine comes from and you know a little bit about the area and the people that are pouring their heart and soul into making it, it gives you a better appreciation, and it just slows you down and makes you more thoughtful and makes the whole experience that much more enjoyable. I want you all to explore the world of wine with me, so go to wineaccess.com and get $20 off your first order of $50 or more. That's $20 off your first order of $50 or more. wineaccess.com/Papa, P-A-P-A. And I have to say, during this long, drawn-out pandemic, it's been great to be able to basically walk through a wine shop online, have these people give you the advice, and have it show up at your door. No liquor stores, no running out, no worries, no masks, no nothing. Just great wine coming to you. I love these guys at Wine Access. I'm so glad they're sponsoring the show. wineaccess.com/PAPA. All right, now it's time for a quick bite with the great Duncan Trussell. Let's get him on the phone and see what is happening in his life.
Duncan,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm great. Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I didn't realize when I was reaching out that this would be such a big moment.
Well, you know what's weird about it is I was just thinking about you yesterday because I have your audiobook on my phone. And then I saw on Audible your audiobook, and then I thought, whoa, that guy's so deep because we talked about transcendental meditation. Yeah, so it's weird. I must have pinged you on the astral realm.
Oh, I love that. I love hearing that. And you must have been pinging me a little bit with just your life change. Congratulations, you had a new baby.
Got a new baby. Yeah, we had our second son.
Wow.
And I know.
Everything went okay?
No.
No?
This is for the second time. Both kids ended up in the NICU. Forrest ended up in there because of jaundice. And Dune, that's the name of the second one, ended up in there because he's so big. He's almost 9 pounds. And so
Whoa.
they have to, I know.
It's a
they have
big...
to watch. Big boy.
Big butterball.
Big butterball, but he's fine now. We're home, but did any of your kids end up in the NICU?
No, I don't know if I would have handled it well.
Oh no, you can't handle it well. It's like,
what do you do?
Have you seen Jacob's Ladder?
No.
It's great, but there's a wonderful scene in it where like hell is kind of depicted as this combo insane asylum, like hospital.
Yeah.
You know, where you're just kind of wheeled around and poked and prodded, and it's like the NICU is like that. Everyone there is sweet. They're all legitimate angels, and I can't even imagine deciding that's where you want to work.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
Oh, like you can't. You're right in the precipice of life and death, and you've got all the drama of these parents whose hearts are breaking. But anyway, the kid's fine,
But no, that's a different kind of person that can do that. I have a friend up in San Francisco that works in that realm, and when you ask them about it, when you're like, how can you handle it? Because you're like all emotional and you know how you'd react. Yeah. And when you talk to them about it, they don't even really, the question doesn't really even penetrate. It's not like, oh yeah, I really got to get through it. They just do it. It's just second nature to them.
Yeah, it's second nature, but
not for you when you're visiting.
No, Jesus Christ, no, and you want to be. This is where, like the reality of how important science is comes clear, because if our emotions are we want the baby out of the hospital, home, and so because of that, like our first kid had like I mentioned earlier, had jaundice, and so we were like, he's probably going to have jaundice. And I was basically telling the doctor what to do. And like an idiot, I'm a fucking podcast. Like this guy resuscitates life every day, and he's listening to my like sleep deprived, bearded ass. Be like, listen, I need to tell you how to do jaundice, doctor. I've gone on Google about it, and maybe you're not aware of this, but they're so patient because they deal with that shit from parents every day. So like they have this ethereal compassion where they listen, and they're like, in a nice way, they're like, well, actually, you're totally wrong. It doesn't work like that at all.
Oh God. Man. Yeah,
it's so cool. It's great to have a new baby. And,
Dune's a great name too.
Yeah. What was I saw when you were talking about crying at one of your kids' graduations? I can't remember what it was. It was something very sweet, and Aaron said to me, "Are you going to cry at his graduation?" And I just immediately started crying. I'm like, no. I
know, it's so unfair. Everything in life is just you go from trying to get control of yourself for your entire life, and like how to act and how to control your emotions and stuff, and then you have children, and then it's like somebody just strips you of all of your coping mechanisms. And then all of a sudden you're like you're crying at a Geico commercial.
That's it. I walked in on my wife weeping at some kind of, I don't know what it was, just some dog commercial. I'm not sure what it was on TV. She's holding the baby, crying. It's your heart. You spend your whole life trying to like put your heart in safe, and then the babies just blow the lock off, and then you're like exactly back to where you were before.
Oh God! So was it fun during the pregnancy? Were you guys were you following your wife's freedom and able to binge and eat fun, crazy things?
What do you? Oh, you mean like no? I tried not. We did that with the first. We did that with the first one. And when your wife is gaining weight, she's pregnant,
right?
But when you're gaining weight with your wife, what do you doing? You can't. Yeah, exactly. But the first one, we were eating these like delicious gourmet chocolate ice cream bars like every night, and just trying to rationalize it like, you're pregnant, so this is what you would do. And but this one we didn't do it. quite as much. There was some binging here and there, but we avoided. We didn't gorge on sweets as much this time.
That's good.
She might have. I don't know. I mean, when you're pregnant, you get to do whatever you want. You're the forge of life.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, all bets are off.
All bets are off.
And are things going good down there? You're back in the South. How do you feel?
Yeah.
It's been a little beat now.
I love it. It's great. It's good. Well, I mean, the winter is winter here. So there's there was a moment 2 days ago with my first son, Forrest. We were standing at the gate to our little vacation rental. And as we looked for a house, and he just, he started playing, and it's snowy and wet, and he just started playing in like a mud puddle with gravel, and I'm like, this is in fucking Ukraine. I feel like I'm in Bosnia. I feel like I'm in some like Soviet Union period piece.
You go home and have like just some borscht and stare at the walls.
Exactly. Like it felt like that. But then you realize for a 2-year-old, gravel in a mud puddle is it's amazing. It's not
heaven.
It's not like I feel like, what are we doing here? Like I feel like I found an orphan in an industrial park or something. But I really do. I really like. I mean, it's so nice. It's like
that's good.
It sucks in the sense that it's not like California where. But I think it's cold there right now for y'all, right? You had a cold snap, didn't you?
Yeah, it was really harsh. We had like 2.5 days where it was below 60.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was really rough.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
But I have to say, there's that thing. There's definitely that thing. Like we actually had rain, and it was like dark and cloudy, and it was like, man, you forget like the impact that has just on your emotions and your mind, and when you just have that constant sun and you don't have that change of gears.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know. It's definitely not as deep of an existence. I think just having that change in the weather and having to just like feel it is. I don't know. Maybe just because I grew up with it. I know kids out here. I have friends that have never been in weather below 50 degrees in their entire lives, and they're like grown people. And they seem.
I wish I could
okay.
confirm it. I can't. Here's the thing. I thought that too when I was in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought when I was in LA, I'm like, God, how can I rob my child of the seasons and the rain?
Yeah.
And like all this like schmaltzy shit, right?
Yeah.
But we got out here, and it started raining, and every couple of days. And it's gray. It's cold. And it snows for the first time, and you're like, wow, look at this. He gets to experience snow.
Yeah.
And then, cut to like a day and a half later. You can't take a toddler out in the snow that much. It's going to freeze. So now you're just like, you're all stuck in a vacation rental, and you realize like, oh yeah, this is what I love about Buddhism, is because it points out that quality in the human mind that puts one place against another and just tricks your ass, So it's
right.
like, go there, you'll be better. Like
right.
I think it's from, I don't know what it's from. And all the Buddha quotes, like anybody could just take a picture of the Buddha and type anything and put it on Instagram.
Yeah.
But
right.
It was something along the lines of like, some people would tell you this place is better than that place. Like there's better people there, smarter people or wiser people, or the weather's better, whatever. But I say to you, the whole world is on fire with suffering.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez, easy, Buddha.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm
Buddha.
down.
What happened? She didn't call you back, right?
Yeah.
But no. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Weather is gonna save you.
Well, you sound great. I'm happy to I'm happy to hear your voice. We'll have to go on each other's podcasts and do the longer form for sure.
Please, I would love that. I'm so glad to hear from you. It was really cool. I mean, that's the best thing when you're thinking about somebody and then the next day they text you. It's a good sign.
Yeah, it is a good sign. Well, congratulations. Enjoy Dune and Forest, and take care of your wife.
1 second, Tom. I know this is only a 5-minute thing, and I already probably went over by 5. How are you doing? I feel rude getting off the phone with you because I didn't ask how you were doing.
No, I'm doing great. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I think I'm really missing performing.
Yeah.
Is the only quirk in the system. I've gone this is the longest time. Like even in the summer I was able to go like sneak out and do a show here or there. Yeah. And now I haven't done anything since November. So I'm definitely itching for that. But I took this little fix where I'm squeezing, where I try and write every day. So what I'm doing now is I'm writing when I would normally be out doing a show at the store.
Oh, wow.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, because it changes your mindset. It's like, okay, so I'm not going to drink at dinner because I have a show tonight, and I'm not going to sit in front of the TV. I'm going to leave my family for an hour and a half. And instead of going to do the show, I go into the office and just spend that time at the desk writing. And sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not. Just like stand up. Sometimes you feel great. Some nights you just kind of come home and go to bed. But that little mind trick has been pretty valuable. That's
so cool. Cool. I'm going to adopt that once in a little bit. I mean, we got a baby, so. Yeah, you don't have to do anything for a year. I don't have to do anything for a year, but man, it's great to hear from you, Tom. Well, yeah, let's trade podcasts again soon, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for having me on. All right, buddy, you're the best. You're the best. That's it. Thank you all for listening. I hope you had a good time here on the Breaking Bread with Tom Papa podcast. Like it, subscribe, tell your friends about it, spread the word. Keep interacting with me online. I try and respond as much as I can. Show me all of your successes and failures and your baking and your eating. I hope you enjoy yourself and enjoy your life, and I'll see you next time.